So we know Jon Jones is back, and he's taking on my man Daniel Cormier at UFC 214 in July. And at the summer kickoff presser on Friday, things got heated yet again between these two. Megan O'Leary caught up with the former champ right after that crazy press conference.
Thanks so much, guys. Jon, that was quite the press conference. First of all, welcome back.
Thank you.
Were you excited to get that call and know that there is a date and there's something scheduled for you now?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been training this whole time, but now that I have a date, I feel like I can really just focus in my energy, my diet, and everything towards one goal and one date, and it makes things a lot easier for me. Yeah.
You know, sometimes when somebody's out of the spotlight, fans tend to think, oh, they must not be doing anything because we don't necessarily see it. I know with you that's not the case, but really, what have you been doing in your time off?
Just enjoying being like not athlete, just being a dad, just being a friend, just being a son, a fiance, just a normal guy, you know. But also being a teammate and helping out my teammates. I've been off of social media and things like that. I feel like I needed the break from the sport, but I've definitely been active for sure. Like I think I've gotten a lot better at my striking, my jiu-jitsu, and I'm excited to prove that here in a few weeks.
You made your return to the spotlight, and immediately the animosity and hostility between you and DC started. I hear there was maybe even a scuffle before you hit the stage?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a scuffle before we hit the stage. Well, there wasn't much of a scuffle. Yeah, DC's like, what an embarrassing haircut or something like that. And I was just like, well, what's going to be more embarrassing is you trying to explain to your kids one day how you were ever a champion without beating Jon Jones. And then he's like, don't talk about my kids, blah, 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 blah. And he stood up and smashed me square in the face with a water bottle. And before I could do anything about it, there was security everywhere. So I'm excited about that. When you've been on top and winning for so many years, you always need like new levels of motivation, new things to give you fire and drive, and that definitely motivated me for sure. I'm already motivated, but it gave me a little bit more, so I'm grateful for it.
Did you feel like, as you're thinking about, okay, I'm probably going to fight DC before they booked this, did you feel like maybe that kind of fizzled out? Maybe we don't have that hatred for each other. Did you think maybe it would be hard to get up for this? Obviously, it's proven to be wrong, but was that a mindset?
No, I didn't think it would be hard to get up for this fight. Dana's a guy who wants what I have. And I know that sounds weird because he has the belt, but he wants what I have, man. He wants to be known as the guy, man, and he's simply not. No matter what he tries to tell himself, I can only imagine being in his position. He lost to me, and I'm sure he's a prideful guy. I know he's a prideful guy, and he considers himself a champion, but the truth is, you're not a champion. You never won the NCAAs. You never won at the Olympics. You never won the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. In Strikeforce, I mean, who can't win that belt? So it's just like, whatever.
We are so looking forward to this fight, Jon. Looking forward to your return. Best of luck to you. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Megan.
Guys, back to you.
So, DC, well, first of all, I guess, so what do you think of what he said about what happened between you guys backstage, and what do you think he
that's
said
not
about you in general?
That's not necessarily the truth. I never said anything about his haircut. He looked at me and said, "You're funny." And I said, "Well, what's funny?" He goes, "You think you can beat me?" I said, "Well, I don't think I can beat you. I know I'm going to beat you." And so then he started going into his whole little spiel, "Oh, you're going to have to tell your kids." Boop, bottle to the face. You don't get to mention my children. And then we got up, and boop, bottle to the face again. Don't mention my kids, because what is he gonna have to tell his kids? Mm-hmm. Leave families out of it. It's me and you. I'm excited to fight this dude. He talks about I'm not the man. I didn't win the NCAA tournament. I didn't win the Olympics. I went to the NCAA tournament. I went to the Olympics. All these things that he wished to have done in his life, I actually did and got to experience. So when he talks about I want what he has, I believe that his life would be good if it was the way that I did. Going to college, finishing school, having all these other things that I've accomplished. That's your issue, Jon Jones. You want what I got. July 29th, you get to try to take it back. It ain't happening. It's not happening. I will beat Jon Jones down in Anaheim.
According to Dana White, Conor McGregor and the UFC have reached an agreement with each other on terms to fight Floyd Mayweather. Of course, the deal with Mayweather still has to be made. Now, other UFC fighters have come out and expressed interest in boxing, most notably Stipe Miocic called out heavyweight champ Anthony Joshua. Jimmy Manuwa wants to box David Haye. He is the first British boxer to become a unified cruiserweight world champ. So, guys and lady, if the trend continues, it actually happens, is this good or bad for the UFC? Misha, let's start with you.
I think this is great for the UFC. I think MMA fighters stepping out of their element have nothing to lose in a boxing fight. I particularly like the Conor McGregor-Mayweather fight. The other ones I'm not so sure about. But I feel like fighters have nothing to lose when they're stepping into a boxing ring, so to speak. And I think it brings exposure to both sports, and particularly the UFC. And if the UFC fighter wins, it says a lot about how developed mixed martial artists are, including their boxing backgrounds.
Well, Misha is kind of half right. Of course she thinks the Conor-Mayweather fight's the one that makes sense. She's not sure about the other ones because it doesn't make sense. This is why Conor McGregor is the smartest man in mixed martial arts. He saw an opportunity against Floyd Mayweather, so he decided to take it. He can make $100 million, people. Stipe Miocic cannot make $100 million. He's not going to get anywhere close to that if he goes and boxes. Same thing for Manawa. Conor is doing this for a payday. He's not going, I want to challenge myself in boxing. He wants to be a $100 billionaire.
He can actually go and fight Mayweather, and I've said it time and time again on this show, he will lose. But the rest of these guys, they will get no money, and they will also get slept. Look, James Toney fought in the UFC and got beat. We had no problem showing that footage over and over again of James Toney getting beat by Randy Couture. These boxing promoters will constantly show video of the heavyweight champion of the world, Stipe Miocic, getting slept by Anthony Joshua. Or Jimmy Manawa, come on, Jimmy, getting slept by David Haye. These dudes will get slept, and it's going to be embarrassing. So, no, it is not good for the UFC. Conor, hats off to you. Make your money, but don't get slept, which might happen to him.